of Change News.
This is Voice of Change Radio News. Thank you for joining us. I'm Amanda Kumalo. A look at the leading stories. Agric land not for sale, President. In business news, sanctions frustrate fresh investments. In regional and international news, Ebola infections rise in Uganda as death toll rises to 23. In sports, female bodybuilder Jonga for World Fitness Federation Pro-Am. The news in detail. President Mnangagwa has said agricultural land is not for sale and anyone who will be found selling farms allocated to them under the land reform program will face the music. Addressing Zimbabweans in New York, the president said when the government repossessed the land from whites to settle hundreds of thousands of landless black people, it was legislated that the land was not for sale. Zimbabweans in the diaspora have shown keen interest in investing back home, owning farms and being part of President Mnangagwa's Vision 2030 to make Zimbabwe an upper middle class economy. Grade 7 ZIMSEC examinations started smoothly yesterday without any hiccups being reported. Teachers reported for duty and ignored calls for industrial action as they prioritized learners. ZIMSEC spokesperson Ms. Nicolette Slamini said grade 7 examinations started as planned and there were no reports of disruptions. Zimbabwe National Association of School Heads Secretary General Mr. Munyaradzi Majoni said examinations progressed well and as an association they did not receive any report of striking teachers. Farmers in Matebele South Province have started receiving inputs under the climate-proofed presidential input scheme, popularly known as Pfumvudza Intkwasa, a development which will help them plant early. About 400 farmers from Insiza district received their seed and fertilizer at a district launch on Friday. The Pfumvudza Intkwasa program is said to benefit 3.5 million farmers in communal, A1 small-scale commercial farming, outreach settlement and peri-urban farmers in the production of cereals, oil seeds and legumes, including a special pack for 500,000 urban farmers. A look at what is happening beyond our borders. Ebola infections have risen across districts in Uganda, bringing the cumulative number of confirmed and suspected deaths to 23, health authorities in the East African country have said. Uganda declared an Ebola outbreak last Tuesday after the case of the relatively rare Sudan strain was detected in the country's Mubende district. The virus has now spread to neighboring districts, with the Ugandan Health Ministry reporting that cumulative cases had risen to 36, including confirmed and probable cases. In business news, business leaders have said illegal sanctions imposed on Zimbabwe by the United States of America and its Western allies are harmful to business growth as they frustrate fresh potential investments, which constrains economic growth. The country has been under sanctions since the turn of the millennium after it embarked on the land reform program, prompting former colonial master Britain to impose sanctions in protest and lobby for the same hardline stance by its allies. African leaders in solidarity with Zimbabwe, however, joined hands in lobbying for the unconditional removal of the punitive measures, saying they were also hurting the entire region. The Southern African Development Community SADC has declared October 25 as a day of solidarity with Zimbabwe in calling for the removal of the 2-decade-old embargo. Moving on to the world of sports. Zimbabwean female bodybuilder Regina Jonga will finally compete this year's World Fitness Federation Pro-Am and Championships set for Mandalika, Indonesia on November 19 and 20. Jonga has managed to get a full sponsorship from Keith Martin for the show that will have several international contestants. The Mbare-born Hulk has also been transforming herself after she took part in the 2-day judges and geometricians course held in Harare at the weekend. That brings us to the end of this bulletin.
Voice of Change News.